All right. Welcome, everyone. This is Frances James, the host and creator of Minneapolis Poetry Sanctuary. We have a full house tonight. I am so excited. It's going to be great. Thank you for joining us from wherever you are. We have people coming, from all over, so it's going to be fun. And first up, we have Rescue Poetix. Welcome. Tell us about yourself.
Hey everyone, such a pleasure to be here. I'm Rescue Poetix. I'm based out of Jersey City, New Jersey. I'm the poet laureate, the first Hispanic woman poet laureate of Jersey City. And I'm originally from Patterson, New Jersey. So I'm a Jersey girl born and raised. And it's an honor and a pleasure to be here looking at all these beautiful faces. So I've got two pieces tonight, and we're going to kick it off since it's actually Valentine's Day with a piece that's called What's in a Blush. There is a rush when things move, not the kind that requires actual motion, the kind that heats the skin. Under the watchful eye of a tease, the hue begins with the faintest of pink roses, deepened into the hue of rubies, spread from delicate nerve to delicate nerve, until it can no longer be hidden. A gauge to measure the impact on the plane of one's cheek, the scale by which intent is weighed, cultivated words in action, suspended in the give and take of the moment, desire to stroke the elevated tint, ease the warmth accompanied, becomes a tangled fascination. Struggle between need and desire, chased only by the secret pleasures of the rise that led to secret tendencies and tenderness. Heightened senses simmer, waiting. There are many ways by which it comes, the soft acknowledgement of shyness, result of emotion stirred, a simple yet pointed reaction. Brought to the surface by a glance or a word, the weight of either lifting something from depths otherwise hidden. What's in a blush, a stirring, a little thing, a rose by any other name. Thank you. And this next piece, since it's bitter cold outside today, I wanted to bring in some warmth and some energy from the summer. So this piece is called Summer in the City. Growing up in the city means a different kind of summer. Sidewalk barbecues fill each breath with charcoal and smoke. Neighbors bringing what they have to put on the makeshift setup table. Grills surrounded by well-intentioned, self-proclaimed grill masters, secretly waiting for a chance to flex those tongs. From the card table at the corner, the slam of Capicu announces the end of the latest round of dominoes. Marble tiles defiant the glaring sun that bakes the blacktop, bouncing off brick to kiss rosy cheeks. Limber y piraguas of piña, mango, lime, red and blue melt before they can cool parched lips. Salsa y merengue give the street the season soundtracks, blaring from windows in multiple directions. Our weekend summer camp in stereo. Fire hydrants splashing about, stickball, laughter, double dutch, tag, hide and go seek until the streetlights flicker on. Universal call that brings the block to bath and bedtime. Dominoes clashing, shifting in block circles, shifting and shifting along the tabletop, fading smoke and street smells. Backdrop of familia hanging out on stoops. One by one, the stoops empty out, wide open windows yawn, release their sheer salutes darkened by resting heads. Abuelitas y tías checking in. Charcoal dumped over the curb, embers grasping to be seen through a midsummer night's gleam. Thank you.
Wow,
Thank
thank you so much. That was beautiful. Your beautiful
Yeah.
like red hair and just your lips with the blush poem was just fitting very perfectly tonight. So, oh, wonderful
Thank
to
you.
have you.
Such
Thank,
a pleasure. Yeah, and I look forward to hearing everyone else. Thank you.
thank you. All right, so up next we have George. Welcome. Good to see you again.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. I'm from St. Paul, Minnesota. I've got 4 books of poetry out. You can find them on Amazon. I was fortunate enough to win the Veterans Voices Award in 2019 from the Minnesota Humanities Commission. And I've got about 4 poems for you tonight. The first one, if I thought you cared for me, I'd wake up early every morning, work out religiously at the gym, get into the best shape ever, eat more vegetables than meat, walk the long trail at every park, read every philosopher's opus. There wouldn't be a single day unfilled by the Dalai Lama's words. I'd throw out all my clothes and replace them sartorially. My sense of balance would improve. I'd give speeches on true love's path. Every day would start with a sign to you of how my heart is longing. My eyes would be glazed over with heart throbs, thinking of you. I would abandon every achievement, give up whatever pleased you to do, except pizza. Gotta have pizza. But I'd love you incredibly too. This next one is called Beyond Shalimar. It was way past the wrist corsage and carnation in the lapel of a powder blue tuxedo, photos in her living room, or even the cummerbund and the plunging neckline, the deep bare back of the formal and the matching high heels. 6 of us plugged into a limo on our way to dinner, grinning, like we were growing into adulthood, and the prom where we met would-be grown-up children, and swayed and spun and rocked as if the world owed this to us. It was way past that when the driver dropped us off several blocks from her house, and I nuzzled her cheek, whispering how nice that smelled. And as a blood moon rose above us and worked my way over to her pouted, waiting lips, hugged her like life itself, and we buried ourselves in kisses over and over again, blissful in the smell of each other, in the feel of a desperate night, in the tentative moment neither of us would ever let go of. Do not wake up. I will be there in the morning when you all tumble and bed gray yawning, stretch the yoke of night from the tremble of your skin. The sun underneath us shining, and the sky overhead all sheepish waits. Do not wake up. I will be there in the morning. I, no layman of your arms, mumble breathless at your shoulder, akimbo in your silence. Do not wake up. I will be there in the morning, wanting for you the peace of plains and tall grasses in summer rain, the patience of the loon at dusk. Do not wake up. I will be there in the morning. An unspectacular communion of bees has nestled in my head, danced along these jagged nerves. The honey is over here, they signal. Just follow the dance's rhythm and claim your reward. But reward isn't what I want to find. The flight of my wind-lifted wings doesn't lead me to honey. I take your wrinkled hand in mine and feel our blood buzzing, one beat on top of another. We are flying toward the lost horizon of our conjoined sweet dreams. Rehearsed and nurtured destinations reflect in our compound eyes. They dance around our honeycombed hearts. They buzz and spit and sting, startle and sleep and sing. Work with no destiny in mind except continuance and flight. The going on is everything there is tonight. Our hive life is unrewarding, the pain in our joints annoying, and the destinations are shifting beyond a single dance or rhythm, past a single place to go. Beside us, all the things we know. Our journey isn't done, my dear, although the course uncertain leads us back to everywhere we've been, we've seen, we've done. We need to dance like bees until the journey's won and we taste the sweetness on our tongue. And this last one is called Let Me See You Plain, unadorned and unguarded, without the makeup of your professional world or the faces you wear to convince, influence, connive. I want to see the dirt under your fingernails, a smudge on your cheek from good hard work, done because you like doing it. Show me the broken tooth in the back of your mouth that you got from biting on hard candy. Give me a full view of your scars, of your rips and tears. Let all the seams burst with laughter or cry because your weary body can't keep up with your teeming brain. Let me see you plain. There is no better way to love you. Thank you.
Wow, those were so beautiful, George. Thank you so much. I don't think I've ever heard love and heart like compared to like a bees and like a hive and like flight. That was really beautiful, really interesting to me. So I always love having you here. So glad that you could be here tonight. Sarah Degner Riveros, welcome.
Thank you. I'm going to read 4 short poems. This first one is from a place here in the neighborhood on the east side of St. Paul, where I live. It's a restaurant that has kept me alive in some hard times when I felt like I couldn't function. And they loved me with food. East Side Tie. Snowflakes feather the shiny street frozen smooth just past Aguirre and Payne Avenue. Rice scooped round on red dishes, hot faux cardamom, licorice, menthol, smoke in a bowl. Coffee with syrup, cream is condensed sweet clouds of love. Warm peace fuels a hum of labored joy. Over here on the east side, little bowls and cups of sugar, spice, warmth carry us a long way. There are a lot of kinds of love. I wrote this poem for my daughters because sometimes I can't be with them, but they have each other. It's called Find. Cheeks wet, tears flowing, teeth grinding, crying out her name. She comes to you with soft hands, sweet voice, presence, and calm embodied. She listens in the darkness. She sees mercy in the hours. She lends you her vision of hope that tomorrow will come. The dawn is farther along the map, creeping surely toward home as the sun also rises between your ribs. Hope is steady, even when you close your eyes. It's Valentine's Day, so I'm going to read you Slut Poetix. M dashes sprinkled everywhere, an occasional hyphen, overstrikes, ellipses. Diction, words chosen with easy exclamation marks, no flowery metaphors, just blunt exaggeration. Double entendres in every line, punctuated with a few winks and white lies. Steamroller language to knock you off your feet. A poet wants your everything. And this one is called Arts and Letters. Handwriting's perfect when snail mail is all you have to make an impression to the outside world. Scrolled S's sing of the gentility of your spirit, the hope of freedom that this stamp in the corner promises. If you can escape these walls in words, someday your body will ship out and you'll make your way home for good. Meanwhile, your hands shape paragraphed love, imprisoned hope, tiny beauty across the miles to me.
Thank you so much, Sarah. I love that you read poems about food and about your daughters. There really is so many different kinds of love. And I love love, and I love celebrating all the different kinds. And thank you so much for being here. Up next, we have Barry MacDonald. Welcome. Good to see you again.
Hello. I go by the pen name Tekkan, Tekkan. It's a Japanese Dharma name that I got when I took Buddhist vows. And my poetry is influenced by Buddhism and also recovery from alcoholism. And actually, I forgot it was Valentine's Day because I had no reason to remember it except that these poems are suffused with my love. That's true. And so the first one, oh, and you can find my books. I published 30 books. You can find them all on Amazon. The first one is thus. Oh, by the way, again, I work with sonnets and tanka, sonnets in the Italian style right now. Without a person looking into it, a mirror resembles an empty box. It becomes a curious paradox. There isn't an ounce of meaning to it. The open sky and the clouds don't need it. A mirror is also a tinderbox. It depends upon a jack-in-the-box and needs an anxious person to use it. Without a conscious human being, the mirror merely reflects and doesn't grow or influence the things about it. But once it does reflect the person's face, the mirror casts a spell and births an ego. Inside an image, a person gets shut. A mirror without a face is like a box without a lid. This next one is an image that I've been playing with for over 30 years. I used to live in Kyoto, Japan, and I had private students in Osaka. And sometimes I would just stop in coffee shops and sit down with a pen and paper and play with images. And this is the result of one of those that I've worked on over the years. Is there a more sublime image than a chubby boy playing a tuba, puffing his cheeks, pursing his lips, and vibrating the air? A marvelous umpapa, a low reverberating umbaba, a lovely metaphor symbolizing a musical rendering of farting. And as a rascal, I'd like to add a humble dollop by dropping an empty snail shell into the tuba, picturing a combination of curves within curves, a happy symmetry in sympathy with a symphony of rhapsodizing, frivolous, phantasmagorical verve. Do you think the snail shell in the lowermost curve of the tuba would rattle? That's a question you have to answer on your own. I don't know. If it does rattle, it's a vibration within a vibration, just like the snail shell is a curves within curves. Okay, I only have one more. And it's really about this image here. You can see it. It's a conch. And to me, a conch looks very much like an ear. I close my eyes and listen intently and absorb the sound inside the shell of a conch, a lovely epitome of nature's fantastic creativity, frolicking with my receptivity, rollicking with nonsensical thoughts of an ear listening to the sound inside of another ear. Is this a bumblebee? The sighing and swelling of an ocean? Or the sprinkling of rain upon a lake? Is this the rhythm of my heart and blood? The breaking of waves in lazy motion? I may be giving myself a headache with the commotion of a rushing flood. The absent conch has left behind a lovely pink ear that I can hear. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Barry. I always love the Buddhism that kind of goes in and out of your poems, and the nature that you bring into the images. I think that's beautiful. Okay, up next we have IA Virgin Poet. Welcome, good to see you again. Oh, you're on mute. You gotta unmute.
Good evening. Happy Valentine's Day to everyone. I wanted to say this. Happy Valentine's Day. It's an old 1-year box of chocolate. My poetry's texture exposes a sense of truths, detailing paradoxes of visionary and imagery techniques that inspire songs in my words to readers and audiences. I am an evocative poetry writer, inspiring devotion from audiences and readers. New York, dedicated to Linda, in honor of Jose Ivan Sacasa, rest in peace. Life is uncertain. Dysfunctional nightmares springe on stressful consequences of unconscious emotions intertwined with unescapable branches with causational effects. And in not embracing his diagnosis and not internalizing it, he was unable to understand it. Stumbling on his repressed rage, gave expressions in abusive words as his mind no longer made decisions that he was aware of. And in attacking his loved one, he induced walls that distanced them. Surgeries neutralized the cancer, but new symptoms took their place, creating distress and lost in his body and outside of his awareness. His condition worsened, tossing his mind into murky waters. Unable to communicate, he became a lost soul by a raging effect. His mind strategy distracted him, focusing only on the body, deflecting his attention on himself, changed the course of his health. The emotional state in his unconscious mind was threatening to become conscious, and in becoming conscious, it created a blind faith, remote in time. These psychological factors were quickly catalyzing the cancer, unable to be predicted or totally explained. The weak effects of hopelessness, anxiety, and depression were of an emotional, painful nature, becoming a host of enormous magnitude. His mind's tendency to effect a unification of feelings and emotions, allowing his unconscious mind to display an unwillingness to express that became internally dangerous, internalizing in words of what had influenced his life. His ambitions, his achievements, his personal relationships would soon be gone. Interpreting his condition as unfavorable, setting in motion a quick demise. He was not aggressive, but a victim of circumstance caused by the pressure of life and the pressure he put on himself, creating displacement of reservoirs of unlocked feelings of self-preservation of an untimely manner of how it happened, revealed the need for warmth and closeness. Only his mother could fit those shoes. Her denial to be with him at his precious time created sentiments of a child's primitive mind, needing to be heard, seen, and embraced, manifested disparities in his inevitable death. You went to the ER as you began to bleed. Your feelings, your fears engendered new symptoms that hastily occurred. The intensity of these induced feelings denied you of wanting to live, even with various surgeries to save your life. Iban, your overt desire to live was apparent and visibly seen. Unfair as it was, cancer spread, kidneys failed. All the doctors and nurses at Mount Sinai did all that they could. Now I have regrets, a heavy burden of heart, for you were the dew on my petals when the clouds cleared. The realization of never again hearing you, seeing you, are the after effects of the storm. Where now I have to look at life where you died and I survived. Alone in my room, I write about the weeks before. I find myself less centered and less in control. In your perilous despair, your interminable whispers echo the night winds to say, I have never loved as I have loved you. Iban, there's something irreplaceable in my heart as I lay awake in my defeated silence, not being able to convey my deepest gratitude and how much I will always love you for what you gave me. I will remember your smile, the setting of your anchor. And in this exchange for this moment, time stands still. I, a virgin poet. New York, dedicated to Linda, in honor of Jose Ivan Sacasa. Rest in peace. I want to close my eyes and tear internally. I want to push the clouds apart, viewing horizons of rainbows amidst the etching of your face. I want to feel my hair stand as the cool breeze sets its chill. I want to trust you to sweep away my tears that flood my heart and soul. Set dates were made, but never to be. So quickly it happened, now I'm alone. Reefs on my window sing melodies of songs far gone, trying to reclaim my life as I embrace your love for me. If only you hadn't lost hope, for your despair was unspoken of. Then time set in and took you away to a place you didn't want to go to. You didn't die alone. I was there. Unpredictable as it was, you are now free. Maybe tomorrow was to be late. You lost your hopes and dreams, but your love for me will forever exist. How sad it is to say goodbye when your love is hidden as the night falls on blue skies and the tides commence with your heart in your hands. The lessons I've learned were of love, compromise, and hurt. Your stature was of a soldier till the very end. I'm still learning how to understand and comprehend the loss, how quickly it came and how it ended. But I will in time endure this. But for now, I want to close my eyes and tear internally. I want to push the clouds apart, viewing horizons of rainbows amidst the etching of your face. I want to feel my hair stand as the cool breeze sets its chill. I want to trust you to sweep away my tears that flooded my heart and soul. I.A. Virgin Poet. One more. New York, dedicated to Linda in honor of Jose Ivan Sacasa. Rest in peace. Hidden tragic affair of her heart blinded her of herself, but led her to his arms, where an open conversation made her cry and exposed the longing to be loved. And in the midst of her struggles, her future and her plans, shattered waterfalls exposing a rainbow of vulnerabilities that wrote of their love in that moment amongst the blue skies. To love him on that day, to lose him on the next, left her in pieces with sorries and apologies. As she sits in the core of this wilderness, she remembers how much he loved her and the silence of her pain. Her suffering is a self-made exile of an unplanned trip, a reality that in fact was a fantasy, unfinished and undone. With circumstances of no rooms to move in his image and absence, led higher to dark and empty moments, feeling wounded with voices in her head. She belongs to her words, which give her freedom of a love she once had. She curiously listens outside the darkness and demands to know what lies ahead. And in excluding herself, she is no longer a part of it, making her restless with an understanding that she cannot tolerate the very center of herself. These visions clear her head and create a lightness in her body and a realization of being something special. And as her lips part to speak and fear is in her eyes, poetry allows her to unveil the madness of her thoughts. I.A. Virgin Poet. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Wow, what incredible tribute poems that got me so right in my heart. And thank you so much for sharing those with us. That was really powerful.
Life is uncertain.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And love hurts. And that's the thing, is it's like the more you love someone, the more it hurts in certain ways. And I appreciate
Memories are good.
it most.
Memories are good. Memories are good.
Yes, truly.
Memories are good. And it's very good. The loss will never leave. Mourning is just a stage, a process, but the loss will never leave. And when your tears become a smile, you're doing better.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Up next, we have Stephen Blane. He is new. Welcome. Love to see you.
Francis, thank you so much. Hi, everybody. I think I know, like I said, I know, where is he? Oh, Jeff. Jeff is here. I'm in Manhattan. Yeah, where are you guys from? Are you all over the country?
Lower East Side.
You're in Lower East Side?
Yes.
I know your hood very well. I was down there. Other New Yorkers here? No? All right.
I lived in New York for 6 years, but it's been a while now. I miss New York.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Well, we're still here waiting for you to come back.
Thank you.
So I wrote this in honor of Valentine's Day, and I think it was Yvonne just said something about love hurts, and I had to go with that. So here it is. Hurting thing, it's a dirge you sing, it's a spider sting. Love isn't just a fling, no, it's everything. And love is a hurting thing. Nothing feels worse than a love that's gone wrong. No kind of pain as deep or strong. My head says it's time to make a new start. What about my heart? It's a dirge you sing, it's a spider sting. Love isn't just a fling, no, it's everything. Love is a hurting thing. Nothing is right now that I am alone. I wake in the night and I stare at the phone. I know I would say, if I looked in your eyes, something that no one denies. Oh, love is a hurting thing. It's a dirge you sing. It's a spider sting. Love isn't just a fling. No, it's everything. And love is a hurting thing. It's a diamond ring and a wedding band in the top left drawer of the table stand. cliche, but I, I can work on that. Thanks for listening.
Do you have another one for us?
That's my best shot for the night.
That was
Pretty good.
so wonderful. Oh my gosh. I mean,
Yes.
music is poetry, right? And I've always wanted someone to sing on here. So thank you so much. That made my night. I appreciate
Well,
it.
I sure think of it. I mean, for me, it's a craft, just like, all of us work on words. And I just because I have that gift that I can sing it and play it, but for
Wow.
me, we're doing the same thing.
Thank you so much, Stephen. I would.
Thank you, Francis.
Yeah, I want to have you again. I need another song now. So I'd love
Well,
to.
why don't you
have
go around, and
back.
if you go around, and are you going to do another round?
Well,
No.
we've got still a few more poets to go, but if we have time at the end, I'll let you know.
Sure.
All right. Thank you so much. Okay, and then up next we have another newbie. Jeff Cottrill, welcome. Good to see you.
Hi, Francis. So my name's Jeff, and I'm from Toronto. And first off, I will give you a poem that is kind of an alternative to traditional love poems, because sometimes if you write a love poem too well, it can come off as a little creepy. So this is a poem about just liking someone. It's called Like Poem. Some writers say words can't express their love. Well, I don't love you. I merely like you. And surely words are good enough for that. I like you. You're kind of neat to hang out with, but only in small doses, not a lot. You're a swell opponent for a game of Risk or Clue or Cards Against Humanity. I'd watch a movie with you. Nothing great, not Casablanca or The Seventh Seal, but maybe that last Hobbit film, let's say. I'd never have sex with you. Nor would I go on a long trip with you, because I'd get quite sick of you after a day or two. But we know it would never come to that. Shall I compare thee to a plate of macaroni and cheese? I like mac and cheese. It's a nice lunch snack. It'll do when you just don't have time to bake. If you eat too much, you may get indigestion or dysentery or maybe even worms. That's more or less how I feel about you. How do I like thee? Let me count the ways. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 2. That sounds about right. 2. Like me mildly, like me bland, think I'm a-okay. Say hello and shake my hand and stay 2 feet away. Oh, my like is not a red, red rose, but more a short, stubby dandelion, which gets chopped in the mower on a Saturday morning. Oh, my like is like a melody, but not one by Mozart or Tchaikovsky, more like a 1980s pop hit, catchy and sweet, yet vastly disposable, like something by Mr. Mister or Paul Young or Level 42 or DeBarge or Wang Chung. What, you don't remember them? Exactly. When a man likes a person, things still sort of carry on. He might bum a smoke or maybe lend $5 to you. If you're bad, he'll tend to notice, and then he'll stop liking you, turn his back on you, and delete you from social media. Love means never having to say you're sorry, but like means never having to say I love you. Roses are red, violets are blue. AstroTurf is a worthy practical substitute for the real thing, and so are you. Now, actually, I don't like AstroTurf. And come to think of it, I don't like you. No, you're annoying and you smell bad too. Go away. So that was Like Poem. Next up, I'll give you a relative, that was an oldie. I'll give you a relatively new one this time. This is called An Honest Proposal. My dear, my love, Please accept my hand in marriage. There's nothing more romantic I can think of. Just think of it. Think of the lovely life we'll share. Think of the rapturous wedding we'll hold. Think of the passionate honeymoon. Think of the limitless lovemaking. Think of the joy of stepping into our first house. Think of the tears we'll shed when our first child is born. Think of the pride we'll feel watching our child grow up. Think of the slightly fewer tears we'll shed when our second child is born. Think of the stretch marks you'll have. Just think of it. Think of the years of family dinners spent together. Think of the birthday parties and Christmas mornings. Think of the endless school hockey games and plays. Think of the countless sibling fights we'll break up. Think of the disappointing report cards. Think of the minimal amount of tears we'll shed when our third child is born. Think of the neglect our middle child will suffer. Think of the times our middle child will act out because of our neglect. Think of the moment the cop will tell us our middle child has been arrested for vandalism. Just think of it. Think of the dull daily routine into which our lives will plummet. Think of the day we'll stop going out without the children. Think of the evenings sitting in front of the TV and never speaking to each other. Think of the passive-aggressive verbal jabs we'll poke at each other. Think of the moment we'll forget what we saw in each other in the first place. Think of the screaming arguments our children will overhear when they're in bed. Think of the slamming doors and hurled plates. Think of the silent treatments and insincere apologies. Think of the therapy bills our children will pay. Just think of it. Think of the night I'll catch you receiving cunnilingus from my brother's weightlifting trainer. Think of the condescending tone you'll adopt to mock my sexual inadequacy. Think of the tiny basement apartment into which I'll move. Think of the vicious, exhausting court battle we'll prolong for months. Think of the enormous legal bills and time wasted. Think of the way we'll make our children choose which of us they love more. Think of the friends we'll lose and the gossip they'll share. Think of the size my belly'll grow as I just stop caring. Think of the botched plastic surgery that'll symbolize your desperate drive to stay young. Just think of it. Think of the thousands of lonely nights of TV dinners and masturbation. Think of the chronic online stalking of old high school crushes. Think of the, oh, you're leaving. Oh, well, I suppose you need more time to think. I'll be waiting here with this beautiful tungsten wedding ring. A life together. Just think of it. That was an honest proposal. I don't know if I have time for a third one. I think you said 10 minutes max. But if that's okay, I'll give you one more. This is another oldie and another Valentine themed one, I guess, called Dreamboat. Oh, Jeff. Oh. Every time you speak in that high, whiny little voice, it turns me on. Every time you forget to say thank you for my small, thoughtful gestures, it makes me feel hot. Every time you chew your food with your mouth open, it drives me crazy with raging, throbbing lust. Oh, Jeff. Every time you say rude, insensitive, inappropriate comments and then wonder why I'm not laughing, it gets me wet. Oh, Jeff, there's so much that I treasure about you. I love knowing that you're 48 years old and still have never made more than $48,000 a year. I love the way you refuse to suck in your gut in public. I revere your junk food addiction. I love that you can't take in more than 2 drinks without turning into a grumpy, sullen bore. I adore the gross, putrid way the skin on your hands cracks in winter. I worship your perpetual acne problem. I venerate your domestic laziness. I cherish the childlike tantrums you throw when your computer freezes at work or when you miss the bus by seconds. I relish that creepy way you avoid eye contact during casual conversations and that creepier way you force eye contact during serious ones. I dote on the way you complain constantly about everything wrong with your life while blaming everybody except yourself. I love knowing that you will never be a hero. I embrace the way you recite long, poorly edited prose monologues at public readings and have the gall to expect us to call it poetry. Please try to sell me your merch, Jeff. Keep shoving your CDs and chapbooks in front of me. Beg me to come to your shows. Assault me with relentless, spastic neediness. No matter what I say, keep hard selling me like Shelley Levine on Speed. You have no idea how that hits my G-spot. I can't wait any longer, Jeff. Climb under these sheets with me and seduce me with meaningless pop culture quotations. I want to hear some Simpsons dialogue, Jeff. The more obnoxious, the better. I want you to recite some of Monty Python's worst sketches, loudly, in a gruesomely bad Cockney accent. I want to see that quizzical look you give whenever someone brings up any musical act post-1996. I want to watch you turn up your nose pompously and feign ignorance every time someone mentions sports. I want you to hold my body in those thin, veiny, underworked arms and rattle off pointless trivia that bears no relevance to anything in my life. Trivia about old French movies, Warner Brothers cartoons, Charles Dickens serials, Vonnegut novels, Beatles lyrics, Who albums, long forgotten cola commercials from your childhood, Academy Award statistics, and of course, the JFK assassination. What more could a worldly and discriminating woman want in a life partner? Why would I possibly want a man with a six-pack? Why would I settle for soul deconstructing sex with somebody who works out? What would I want with a lawyer or an athlete or anyone who can play the guitar? What would I do with a man who listens to me, comforts me, believes in me, and makes me feel good? What use do I have for confidence, self-sacrifice, empathy, and a deep understanding of the female point of view? Why would I want a man with a level of emotional maturity higher than a 6-year-old's, or with social skills ranking above those of a mentally challenged monkey? Why, Jeff? Why would I wish for any of these things when I have you? And that was called Dreamboat. And just before I leave you, my next Zoom gig is February 26th at Gestalt, based in Nashville. And I have a book coming out soon, so I'm just going to put some links in the chat and you can have fun with that.
Jeff, you are a gem. Thank you. You made me laugh more than I've laughed in weeks.
Yeah, Jeff, I feel like I'm on an emotional roller coaster and I am loving every second. Jeff, that was the humor was perfect timing. You had me laughing out loud. We're all on mute, but we're all pretty much laughing. So thank you so much. And also, please make sure that you put all of your links and everything on the Facebook page, because the links here on the Zoom will only stay on the Zoom. So if any of you want to post like your blog or your website or your books, make sure that you do so on the Minneapolis Poetry Sanctuary Facebook page, where the live video will be. Okay, and then up next we have Mike Wilson. Hi, Mike, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm Mike Wilson. I'm in Lexington, Kentucky. I have a book out, Arranging Deck Chairs on the Titanic, Political Poetry for a Post-Truth World, which you can find on Amazon. And I'll post the link in that in chat after I'm done. But tonight I'm going to read poems from a manuscript that will be my next book, a manuscript of spiritual poems. But 2 of the 3 I've chosen for tonight are funny. So that usually works well in poetry readings. Okay. The first one is, where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? They say God watches over us, but they won't say from where. Maybe right there in a big easy chair, in a place we forget to look, reading a book, a whodunit that don't tell done what. Maybe God's in Albuquerque or East Lansing, eating beef jerky and breakdancing in the glimmer of our imagination. Perhaps God's in Boulder or on our left shoulder, legs kicking out impatiently like a 3-year-old wanting something to happen. Maybe God's eerie, like Siri, who hears everything but script speaks, peeks behind a mustache and glasses. Maybe God tunnels under us, a mischievous mole disrupting plunder, erupting like a pimple on our blunder, to plant plot, arc a story, paint a rainbow, create action with more traction than merely shifting light and sifting dark. God, the ultimate elf on a shelf, who keeps moving, so little chance of ever being seen that God doesn't bother wearing pants to work. Or maybe we put our pants on backwards, objectified the subject, crossed an I with a U to make it fit to a T, V. See? How big God's eye must be, binge watching all space-time, unblinking, unbroken, motionless consciousness, so unlike lightning bugs of life and death, Ohm's pulsing strobe, or the gaudy revolving disco ball, creation. Yo, there's God, beer in hand, glued to the tube, watching all the channels. The next one is Monk's Vow, gazing at a bank of snow. A persistent bulldog guarding an empty box against a thief nicknamed Death, and rumored to stalk tomorrow's nightmare, I shall bury in this bank of snow and no peace. And the last one is Sunday dinner. Did you hear about the chicken who wouldn't cross the street? No joke. Some said it was a midlife crisis. Others called it civil disobedience. The chicken didn't call it anything. The chicken just stood there, gazing at the horizon, seeing through the illusion of places to go. The chicken withdrew to a corner of the henhouse to think about things. All this mindless scratching and pecking and laying of eggs, and then one day the universe wrings your neck, tosses you into a pot? The chicken started reading Eckhart Tolle and Sri Ramana Maharshi, traded her nest for a meditation cushion, and asked, "Who am I?" She realized she was not the feathers Farmer Jones would pluck, nor the wings or thighs or gizzard on Farmer Jones' dinner table, nor a wishbone, nor the liver a haruspex reads to divine the future. She realized she was not, as she thought, even a chicken at all. No, she was the abiding awareness emerging from the moment. A great weight dropped from her breast, and she knew peace. And when the day came that Farmer Jones' hand grasped her feet, and she felt his thumb and forefinger encircle her head, she commended her spirit to the ever-present and eternal now. That night, Farmer Jones' family enjoyed the best Sunday dinner ever, and an angel perched in the vasty deep beyond emitted a joyous cluck.
Oh, thank you so much, Mike. I loved it. I love that last poem. That was fun. There was one more person that was gonna come. I don't think she's gonna be able to make it. Stephen, did you want to do another song? Do you have one? Or if you don't, it's okay. But if you have one, we'd love to hear it.
Well, I'd like to do something that I don't know, just kind of struck me. I did it last night and I enjoyed it. It's on the piano, so hope you like it. It's called Mother Goose. It's raining, it's pouring. This old man is snoring. I went to bed and I bumped my head, and I couldn't get up in the morning. Tisket, a tasket, a green and yellow basket. I wrote a letter to my lover, and on the way I dropped it. I dropped it, I dropped it. And on the way I dropped it. A little boy in his pocket. It's raining, oh, it's pouring. This old man is snoring. I went to bed and I bumped my head, and I couldn't get up in the morning. What about that letter? I should have just known better. But she's been gone so long, and I love her strong. But it's too hard to forget her. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. And all the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. Oh, all the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Stephen. It's so much fun to have
Thank you,
music be
Francis.
part of this. I really appreciate the second song. I think we all did so much.
Thank you.
Well, I thought since we actually have more time than I thought we did, so I thought maybe I would read a poem. Yeah, I guess I'll read a poem. I thought about singing. You gave me a little boost of inspiration there, but I don't know if I'm ready for that. But I do love to sing as well. It's like a very big passion of mine. So yeah, I'm Frances James. You can see my poetry, my artwork, my music. My Facebook page is Fran's Art from the Heart. I also have a website, Fran's Art. It's without the apostrophe, fransartfromtheheart.com. I'm just kind of a jack of all trades. I do it all. Everything creative I love, and I'm always trying to do new things. So this one's, I thought about doing, I don't know, I'm not very organized tonight. I thought about doing some sadder poems, but I don't know. This is the one I have. So here we go. It's called The Poet's Dream. You come as understanding, a surprise and a gift unboxed of healing. There is no anger or shame here, only your gentle hands, your heart beating through my ears as I rest my head to listen, as I rest from fears, as I rest in safety, wanting only this for 100 years. I've been a river with bends and falls. I come as an overwhelming wave. I come as only what I've known, wild and loud and newly free, that of which you embrace, taking me on all of me with joy in your heart. So this is what it's all about, what the poet's dreams are made of, what a song was meant to sing. I understand this with you, finally, to be truly loved. Another thing I thought I would do is, so I'm going to the University of Massachusetts Lowell online for an English degree. They have an incredible English department, just FYI. And right now it's really cool because we're reading Shakespeare's sonnets. And that's actually something I've never done before. And so it's really fascinating. So I don't know, this isn't very good, but I tried to write a sonnet because I was like, Valentine's Day, Shakespeare, you know. So I guess I'll read this one really quick. I called it Cupid's Sonnet. And I don't know if I did it right, but how beautiful that heaven sent you as you are, prepared for me through God's own time and power. How our souls must have danced amongst the stars, knowing planets, visiting clouds, and opening flowers. This love, oh, how tender and blessed to partake. Cupid's arrow aligned and released, which found you, steady and on purpose, delivered without a mistake. The target, our hearts, livened to wings that flew. I will not persuade you with alluring dishonesties, only say what I mean from within the depths of me. My heart without shield, still I offer this testimony. Love who you love, I know how I feel for thee. My hopes are a singing chime of honest wishes set for free. So with truth and beauty and song, I pray this be our melody. And I'm just gonna share really quick. I was Googling like famous love quotes and poems today, and there were a couple really short ones that I really liked. This was a quote apparently from Judy Garland. She says, "For it was not into my ear you whispered, but into my heart. It was not my lips you kissed, but my soul." And then here is a quote by, oh shoot, I can't read the last name here. Oops, I guess I'll go on a different one. Here's a quote from someone named Dr. Stephen Maraboli. I find the best way to love someone is not to change them, but instead help them reveal the greatest version of themselves. I think that's beautiful because I think love does inspire us to want to be our best. Here's another one from Rumi. I once had 1,000 desires, but in my one desire to know you, all else melted away. I think that's pretty too. And then I just love Mary Oliver, so I'm going to read this one quick. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Oh my gosh, I love her. And then this is another favorite poet of mine, Khalil Gibran. Let there be spaces in your togetherness, and let the winds of heavens dance between you. Love one another, but make not a bond of love. Let it rather be a moving sea between the shores of your souls. Fill each other's cup, but drink not from one cup. Give one another of your bread, but eat not from the same loaf. Sing and dance together and be joyous, but let each one of you be alone. Even as the strings of a lute are alone, though, they quiver with the same music. Give your hearts, but not into each other's keeping, for only the hand of life can contain your hearts. And stand together, yet not too near together, for the pillars of the temple stand apart, and the oak tree and the cypress grow not in each other's shadow. So thank you so much, everyone. This was a really wonderful night. Lots of beautiful tributes to love and both sides of it, all sides of it. Thank you so much. I hope to have you again. Like and follow the Minneapolis Poetry Sanctuary page. I try to post writing prompts every Wednesday. I really want people to share what they've written if they do the prompt. So if you write from one of the prompts, comment what you've written in the bottom in the comment section. That would be great. All right, everyone. Happy Valentine's Day. Talk to you all soon. Bye.
Happy Valentine's Day. Thank you, Francis.
Thanks,
You're
Francis.
welcome.
Best.
Thank you, Francis.
Good night.
See you. Thank you, Mike, Yvonne, Barry, and Jeff. Thank you.